Why presidential debates are worthless. Worthless. Pose for the frame. What up? You got Mr. Smith, point five of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and in this brief video, I want to talk about why presidential debates are worthless from my perspective. This is just basically my opinion, and I mean to put worth less hyphenated because worth less, not worthless, they play a part, but worth less than what I'm about to talk about. Now, last night, based on the recording of this video, there was a presidential debate. One of three. It's supposed to be multiple, but one of three. It was between the president, Donald Trump, and the old vice president, Joe Biden. So, that being said, I decided to watch it because I've been a little more interested in politics than normal. I'll just say that because typically, I've been interested, but not from my angle of actually looking into the politicians and really wanting to know even the local politicians that are going for office and judges and things of that nature. I'm more interested in it than I ever been before. Most of the time it was just about the president, but I didn't think about all of the other levels. And that's that. Now, I had a segment where I was very interested in politics from a standpoint of helping getting people registered to vote. And that was when Obama was about to go in office, and I just was, a sense of inspiration. But now I think totally different in terms of the political aspect. So it's been some progression, but here recently I've been more interested. But anyway, back to the conversation at hand, which is why presidential debates are worthless. Now, this is what you got to understand first and foremost, and I'm gonna make this video brief, mainly because I'm gonna say some things that should move you into action or give you some call to actions and things to do. And I want to put a couple of links down below that should get you going down on your journey, because so many people are so surface level. They don't dig deep. They're very surface level when it relates to things such as politics and the presidential debate, because a lot of people are basing their decision off of the presidential debate. And that's why I think the presidential debates are worthless. You can't base your decision off of presidential debates. And a lot of people are doing that. They're listening and seeing who connected with them or make them feel some type of way, yada, yada. But they don't dig layers deep. And that's what you must do. Just as an example, so I can let you know how to go layers deep, my perspective. And then I jump on the subject, then I get off and leave some links below to, tap into. Say, for instance, I decided to get into politics. And say, for instance, this was 10 years from now. So 10 years from now, I'll be in my 40s, and I decided to get into politics. And whatever political office I'm running from, you right now, or anybody tuning into this channel, will be able to look back and see what type of stuff I was on, for the most part, whether you know me for music, whether you know me for financial literacy, educating, credit restoration, the whole nine. You'll kind of see my mental state and the things that I was on in order to be able to determine or judge what type of person I'm likely to be. Of course, you don't know me personally. You're not around me 24/7, but you'll know what type of person I'm likely to be. And that might increase the chances of you either A, saying, you know what, he'll be a good candidate because of this, or B, nah, he'll be a horrible candidate because of this. So you have to go layers deep. You can't base it off of what a person is currently saying they're going to do. You have to base it on things that they've previously done and how you connect or disconnect with those things. So that's first and foremost. So I said that to say this. As it relates to the presidential debate, it's only a small amount of time. They get 2 minutes, 2-minute increments to answer questions back and forth. And, last night was kind of, it was a bit comical in the sense of how they were kind of going at each other, and Donald Trump did a lot of cutting out because that's just his angle. He ain't used to just being controlled like this, so he was doing a whole lot of cutting off. I gotta say, he was cutting Biden out quite a bit, and Biden's strategy seemed to be soft-spoken. You, the American people, that's the angle he was taking, and I got my perspectives on that because I feel that if a person is campaigning or they're doing a presidential debate, The real selection process happens way before the presidential debate even takes place, not at the debate. So if you're trying to win people over right there, but your background, your history has been a disconnect with the people you're trying to win over, it really doesn't matter because everybody shows up and put on their Sunday's best when it's time to perform. So you can't base it on the performance. You got to base it on the things that led to even having the opportunity to perform. I hope y'all catch that. You see, a lot of times when the people get the stage, they try to show out and and tell you everything you want to hear. But then when they win the award or win the position, they drop the ball because it don't matter now because it's not like you can literally take them out of office. So that being said, if you understand that, then the presidential debate is really surface level. Yeah, you're hearing them, you're hearing what they're saying or whatever, but they're supposed to try to come with their Sunday's best. You got to think about what is it that they've done historically, as long as they've been a human being. Really, you got to go all the way back like that. But especially as long as they've been in politics, and if they ain't been in politics long, like Trump, he ain't really been in politics like that long. He's more of a business guy. Of course, business is political, so he's been brushing shoulders with politics from early on. But, as far as political office, he's new to politics. So you got to judge prior politics. You got to judge what you think he was about prior to all of that. Same with Joe Biden. You got to look back. He's been in the politics for, from my understanding, 47 years. So you got to go all the way back on things that Joe Biden has done so you can understand his psychology. Because if you understand his psychology, you will know whether or not the stuff that he's saying on the debate is solid. You will know whether or not the stuff that he's saying for the cameras is authentic. You will know. It's not going to be hard to tell because I promise you it's not a matter, it's real black and white. It's clear cut. Once you click on the links that I have available in the bio, you'll know, okay, this is the psychology that he has already. Should I base my decision on what he said he's going to do in comparison to things he's already done? Because he's already played a part in political history of things that he has done. And the question that I want to ask you is, are those things in alignment with your morals and principles and goals and things that you want to achieve? If so, there you go. You have your choice from a presidential standpoint, but definitely dig deep. Find out who's all on your ballot. That's something I'm really thinking about putting together. But find out who's all on your ballot so you can dig deep on everybody. So when it's time to vote, you're going and checking out the list. You know exactly who you voting for because you've already looked at the ballot. You've done your due diligence. You looked into them, and you're not guessing and just giving people unearned votes. And same for Trump. Look at what he's done. Now, like I said, he hasn't done anything. He hasn't been in political office for long, but look at his previous 3 years and see if what he's done lines up as well. Like, if you look and see some of the things that he might have signed into Congress or whatever the case may be, and you say, you know what, I connect with that, or nah, I don't really connect with that. Don't base it off of media. You got to form your own opinion in this. Do not base it off media. Do not base it off of somebody you follow on social media. Media and social media, one and the same. Because everybody has their own media channel now that we have social media and vehicles like that. But do not base it on social media. Do not base it on media. Base it on your own interpretation, based on your own research and things that you look into. And I try to make it a little easier and put some links below. And as I find more links, I'll try to add to it from time to time. But I start with a few. And then if I say, hold on, people may watch this video a year from now, 2 years from now, I put a couple of more links that allows you to dig into different people, or the people who we're discussing. So that way you can do your own due diligence. Because so many people look at a meme or look at a certain status or look at a certain video and not even go do their own due diligence. I watched a video of what somebody said they took away from the presidential debate. They said, this is what happened on the presidential debate. And I'm like, I watched the presidential debate. That ain't what happened. Like that is not what was said. And I'm thinking about cropping a video to prove that it happened different than what was being put out there because the media has the ability to control you on a mass level. So you got to dig deep on your own, do your own due diligence. I'm not here to tell you or try to influence you because I don't want you even just listening to me. What I want you to do is listen to you. That's what you need to do because I don't know your principles. I don't know your morals. I don't know things that don't sit well with you. I know what doesn't sit well with me. And when I dig deep and do my research, it's all about this in politics. A lot of people say, well, it doesn't matter who you vote for. And I can understand that, because depending on who you listen to, that makes sense when they have supporting reasons behind it. For example, Dr. Claude Anderson, he says it doesn't make sense to vote, and I get it. I understand his psychology, but he has a blueprint, a game plan on what he thinks people should do. That makes a ton of sense, all the sense in the world. However, I do think voting plays a part, but on all levels, not just presidential. You got to vote on a local scale, but it's all about you understanding, okay, I don't like 100% of this, but this person or this group of people are more in alignment with what I think should be the direction that fits my children. Like, what world do you want your children to live in? And you vote based on what you think will move society, culture, the country in the direction closer to where you want to head. It may not be all perfect, because you got to understand, you don't like all the decisions that you made for yourself. People really hold people under the microscope and kind of judge them and say, well, they didn't do this, they did this, as if all of the decisions that you as an individual made have been perfect, as if you didn't look back and realize you did some things that you don't like, or as if you didn't look back and say some things you wish you wouldn't have said at times. So you got to understand that it's not going to be 100% perfect, but you got to see who can help you get closer to your goals as possible. It's almost like chess. It's almost like checkers. It's almost like golf, or it's almost like playing pool. It's all about getting as close to the hole or to the goal as possible. Once you get a little closer, it makes your next swing a lot easier, because now you're closer to where you were trying to go in the first place. So you got to see who's going to push you closer to that goal. What kind of life do you want your offspring, if you have children, to witness, in a sense? So that being said, then you make a decision. So I'm watching my words, because I want you to do your own due diligence and not base it on me. I don't really want to influence you in this video, but I personally feel like presidential debates are worth less. And by worth less, what I mean is worth less than what a person's actual track record has done. So if a person say they're going to do this, but their track record says the opposite, which one has the most clout? Which one has the most value? What they said when they were on the stage, or what they've already done? And I'm pretty sure that talk is cheap, but action speaks volume. So if they've already done some things, but their talk is saying something else, then that talk that they just did is worth less than the actions that they did, regardless of who you're thinking about. So if one person said one thing, but in the hindsight, like if you didn't like what a person said in the presidential debate, but hindsight, you look at what they done and you like, this line up. I'm rolling with this. This make a lot of sense to me. Then base it off actions, never off just words. Never off just words. Or if you love what a person was saying, but then when you look back at their track record, you're like, nah, I'm in line with that. Then base it off, trust your gut, and base it off the actions, not off of what they said. So that's all I got. Mr. Smith, 0.5 for Mr. and Mrs. Smith, signing out. I'm going to link some things below, and I'll do more than just Joe Biden and Donald Trump. I'm going to link some Kamala Harris below, some things that first come to mind, so you can do your own due diligence and determine whether or not you feel you are in a position to decide what's best for your future. But presidential debates are worthless. It's all about what you do your due diligence and decide for you. Stop letting other people decide for you. Not social media, not the favorite person you're following, not the favorite celebrity. I got some in the mail today from somebody who was highly respected in terms of our culture due to their influence, but I'm not influenced by that. So I want to make my own decision, not based off of some other person's influence. That's all I got. Mr. Smith, signing out.